Ever wonder why old folks smirk when you're sweating over a missed deadline or crying about a fight? Like they're in on a secret you're too green to grasp? It's not because they're cold. It's because they've lived long enough to see through the noise you're drowning in. The stuff no one dares say out loud till wrinkles set in. These aren't the fluffy lessons you snag from a self-help book or a pep talk. They're the raw, unpolished truths from people who've tripped, bled, and laughed their way through decades. Truths so blunt they sting, so real they stick. You're chasing perfect plans, perfect love, perfect you. Meanwhile, they're sitting there sipping tea, knowing most of what you're killing yourself for won't matter when the clock runs out. And yet, we dodge these gems. Too busy, too proud, till it's too late. This is about stripping it bare. Life lessons from the gray-haired crowd who've seen the game's end and still play it better than us. Pulled from their stories, gritty, no-filter tales of loss, grit, and quiet wins, and laced with psychology's hard data plus Stoicism's steel spine, we're cracking open what they wish they'd known sooner. Why's it hit hard? Because it's not about chasing more. It's about cutting the fat, facing the mess, and living what counts. Marcus Aurelius said it, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." They've lived it. Now it's your turn. Hit that like if you're ready to ditch the fluff. Share this with someone still chasing shadows. Subscribe to Victory Stoic for the real stuff, and comment "I'm listening" or one thing you're scared to let go. Buckle up. These old souls aren't here to coddle. They're here to wake you up. Number 1. Ditch the old tools. Ever cling to something? A job, a grudge, a beat-up phone, way past its expiration date. Like it's your lifeline, only to realize it's dragging you down? Old folks see it clear. Drop the dead weight. Take Martha, 78. She leaned on a cane for years, hobbling through life after a fall, until her eyes sharpened up post-surgery. One day, she chucked it in the closet, grinning, "Why lug this stick when I can walk free?" She's not sentimental about tools that don't work anymore, neither should you. Or picture Tom, 65, a retired salesman. He held onto a busted briefcase patched with tape till a friend asked, "Why tote that relic?" He ditched it, felt lighter, like he'd shed a ghost. It's not nostalgia. It's nonsense to keep what's done. Psychology backs this. Studies like those in the Journal of Behavioral Decision-Making show we hoard useless stuff out of habit or fear, a sunken cost trap from youth when letting go felt like failure. But the gray-haired crowd knows better. Life's too short to carry crutches you don't need. Martha and Tom learned. Tools, people, habits. If they're not lifting you now, they're anchors, not treasures. The Stoics hammer it home. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Let go, even if folks scoff." It's not about pride, it's about peace. Next time you're stuck, say, clutching a grudge, ask yourself, does this still fit me? If not, toss it, hand that old phone to a kid, skip the guilt trip. Life's a quick blink. Martha's strolling free now, Tom's got a fresh bag. Shed the junk, stand tall, and move on unburdened. Number 2, don't advise unless they ask. Ever jump in to fix someone's mess, dishing out "you should do this" like a sage on a hill, only to get a blank stare or a snapped "mind your own"? Old folks know, don't shove advice where it's not wanted. Picture Edith, 79, a retired nurse. She'd watch her grandson mope after a breakup, itching to say, "Move on, kid, plenty of fish out there." But she'd bite her tongue, sip her tea, and wait. One day he asked, "Gran, how'd you get over heartbreak?" And she shared, calm and short. He listened. Or take Frank, 68, a former mechanic. His buddy griped about a busted car, and Frank held back the "just sell it" spiel. Weeks later, the guy came knocking. "Frank, what'd you do with a lemon?" And Frank's tip landed, "No fuss." It's not preaching, it's pausing. Psychology nods. Studies like those in the Journal of Social Psychology show unsolicited advice often flops, sparking defensiveness, not breakthroughs. People don't hear you when they're not ready. Old-timers see it. Life's too short to play unwanted guru. Edith and Frank learned, folks need space to stew, not a sermon to swallow. The Stoics frame it clean. Seneca said, "Let us say what we feel and feel what we say. Let speech harmonize with life." Don't force wisdom on deaf ears. Wait till they're open. Next time someone vents, like a friend whining about work, zip it. Nod, sip your coffee, let them ramble. If they ask, "What do you think?" then weigh in, short and real. Life's a quick ride. Edith's still gran, not a nag. Frank's the go-to, not the push. Hold your tongue, save your breath, and let them come to you. Number 3. Freedom from others' opinions. Ever twist yourself into knots, dressing up, dumbing down, chasing nods, just to dodge a side-eye or snag a good job from someone who barely matters? Old folks see through that game, cut the strings. Take Helen, 79, a retired seamstress. She spent decades stitching perfect hems, smiling for neighbors' approval, till one day she said, "Enough, I'm wearing my raggedy sweater, and I feel lighter than ever." No more bowing to their whispers. Or picture Jack, 67, a former barber. He'd nod at every customer's jab about his old-school cuts, craving their thumbs up until he shrugged, "I like my style, take it or leave it." Now he clips with a grin, not a grimace. It's not defiance, it's deliverance. Psychology digs into this. Studies like those in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology show we're wired to crave acceptance, a survival tick from youth when fitting in kept us fed. But the gray-haired crew knows life's too short to live for someone else's clap. Helen and Jack learned other people's thoughts are their baggage, not your burden. Lugging them around just weighs you down. The Stoics light the way. Epictetus said, "What need is there to be disturbed by the opinions of others? They're not your concern. Your peace isn't their pull." Next time you're fretting, like over a snarky comment, pause, breathe, ask yourself, does this change my day? If not, let it roll off. Wear that sweater, keep your style. Life's a quick spin. Helen's comfy in her threads now. Jack's buzzing his way. Don't waste your shot bending for their nods. Stand free, shrug off the noise, and own your lane. Number 4. Love can't be bought. Ever think you can win someone's heart with a big gift or a fat wad of cash, only to find they still turn away cold as ice? Old folks get it. Love's priceless. You can't slap a price tag on it. Take George, 77, a retired carpenter. He showered his son with toys, bikes, even a car, hoping for a hug or a thanks, Dad. But the kid barely looked up, resentment simmering, and George sighed, "All that stuff, and he still doesn't care." Or picture Mary, 69, a former baker. She baked her neighbor pies, slipped cash to help with rent, thinking it'd spark a bond. Nope, Mary got a nod. Maybe a nice, but no warmth, no connection. It's not about the loot, it's a lesson in letting go. Psychology spells it out. Studies like those in the Journal of Social Psychology show throwing stuff at people doesn't flip their feelings. Love's not a vending machine. You can't feed it coins and expect a prize. George and Mary learned the hard way. Folks either feel it or they don't, and no shiny bribe changes that. Old-timers see, life's too short to buy what won't sell. The Stoics nail it. Seneca said, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." Love's not about what you give, but what's given back freely. Don't waste your stash. Next time you're tempted, like buying that fancy watch, to patch a fight, stop. Ask, will this make them care? If it's just stuff, skip it. Give a smile, a real talk instead. Life's a quick ride. George chats with his son now, no gifts. Mary shares a coffee, not cash. Save your bucks, offer your heart, and let love come or not on its own. Number 5. Dress neat, that's enough. Ever fuss over a pricey outfit, thinking it's your ticket to looking good, only to feel stiff and fake, like a mannequin in someone else's threads? Old folks cut through that noise. Keep it neat, and you're golden. Fancy tags don't mean squat. Take Doris, 80, a retired seamstress. She'd shuffle out in a plain blouse, ironed crisp, skirt tidy, and beam. "Wrinkles make me look like a mess. Cheap or not, I'm fine like this." No designer fuss, just clean lines. Or picture Fred, 72, a former bus driver. He'd rock a $10 shirt, press smooth, pants straight, and grin. Folks notice the slob, not the price. I'm good. It's not flash, it's finesse. Psychology chimes in. Studies like those in the Journal of Applied Social Psychology show neatness signals care, not cash. Sloppy vibes tank your glow faster than a budget wardrobe ever could. Doris and Fred get it. Life's too short to chase logos when a quick iron does the trick. They've seen fads fade. What sticks is looking put together, not pricey. The Stoics seal it. Seneca said, "Simplicity is true elegance." It's not about piling on, it's paring down to what works. You don't need a closet full of cash drains. Grab what fits, smooth it out, stand tall. Next time you're eyeing that overpriced jacket, like it'll fix your funk, stop. Pull out a shirt you've got, run an iron over it, wear it proud. Life's a fast ride. Doris struts her tidy getup now. Fred's rolling in his pressed basics. Skip the splurge, Keep it sharp, and let the real you shine through the creases. Number 6. Don't try to fix people. Ever catch yourself playing life coach, trying to tweak someone's quirks, nudge their habits, or fix them into your ideal version, only to end up drained, annoyed, and stuck with the same old mess? Grown-ups know better. The adult world's a filter, not a repair shop. You don't mold people, you sift through, swap out, or settle in. Take Clara, 68, a retired nurse. She spent years nagging her grumpy husband to cheer up until she shrugged. He's a grouch, but he's my grouch. I stopped pushing. He's still him. Or think of Tony, 55, a mechanic. He ditched a lazy coworker instead of preaching work ethic, saying, "I can tune an engine, not a guy's soul." Next caller. Psychology backs this up. Studies, like those in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, show folks rarely shift core traits after a certain age. You're better off adjusting your lens than their gears. Clara and Tony figured it out. You can nudge a bit, sure, but don't bet on a makeover. Life's too short to wrestle someone into your blueprint. Pick your crew, or roll with what's there. The Stoics nail it cold. Epictetus said, "Focus on what's in your control, yourself, not others." You can't rewrite someone's script, tweak your own lines instead. Next time you're itching to fix a friend's stubborn streak, or a partner's endless scrolling, pause. Ask, can I swap them out, or live with it? Clara sips tea beside her grump now. Tony's got a new work buddy. Quit the tug of war, screen your crowd, tweak your vibe, and let others be. The real win's keeping your peace, not their peace. Number 7. Watch your step on life's road. Ever get blindsided by someone's flip-flop? One day they're all smiles, the next they're ghosting you, leaving you dazed like you missed a turn? Older folks clocked that game long ago. People shift like the wind, so you'd better keep your eyes peeled. Take Rose, 78, a retired florist. She'd say, "Folks change their tune faster than a breeze flips a leaf. I learned to spot the gusts coming." She'd chat up a neighbor, all friendly, but always noted, "Nice today, tomorrow? We'll see." Or picture Sam, 64, a former cab driver. He'd laugh. "Passengers promise tips, then stiff you. I trust the road, not the rider." Psychology's got receipts. Research like that in the Journal of Personality shows humans are fickle. Loyalty's less predictable than we think. Rose and Sam don't waste energy guessing. They brace for the swerve. Life's a twisty path. You can't control the weather, but you can pack an umbrella. The Stoics saw it coming a mile off. Epictetus put it sharp. Prepare for the unexpected. You don't clutch at promises or pin hopes on steady vibes. Set your stance for the shake-up. Next time a pal's all ride or die, or a coworker swears they've got your back, nod, smile, but peek ahead. Rose keeps her blooms tidy and her trust light. Sam's still steering with one eye on the rear view. Don't trip over sudden turns. Scan the horizon, step smart, and roll with the wind. The real trick's staying steady when the gusts hit. Number 8. Hard times show true faces. Ever notice how folks act sweet when you're flying high, then scatter like roaches when your luck tanks? Tough breaks don't just test you, they flip the lights on everyone else. Take Harold, 85, a retired carpenter. He chuckles. "My pals showed their teeth when my savings dried up. Turns out they liked me better broke." He'd lost a bundle in a bad deal, and suddenly buddies were smirking. "Told you so," instead of lending a hand. Or think of Lila, 70, a former cook. She'd say, "Kitchen ran out of food one night. Half my crew bolted, the rest griped. Hunger sorts through from the fake." Psychology's got the data. Studies in social psychological and personality science show adversity's like a filter. Fair weather friends fade, true colors bleed through. Harold and Lila learned it raw. Smooth seas don't reveal much, but a storm strips the masks off fast. Life's a pressure cooker. You don't know who's who till the heat's on. The Stoics called it straight. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Challenges reveal character." You don't fuss over who'll shine when it's easy. Watch who stands when it's grim. Next time you're riding high, new gig, fat wallet, big win, keep an eye on the cheer squad. Then when the wheel spins and you're scraping by, clock who's still there. Harold hammers nails solo now. Lila plates meals for the few who stuck. Don't curse the rough patches, they're your spotlight. Lean in, spot the snakes, and cherish the steel that stays. Number 9. Face the truth to grow up. Ever catch yourself scrolling X, drooling over some influencers' "I woke up brilliant" glow? Meanwhile, you're just a regular Joe, fumbling through life like your brain's on a coffee break? The real ones don't flex fairy tales. They stare down the mirror and get to work. Take Jim, 79, a retired mailman. He'd grin, "I figured out my head's no supernova. Took me ages to sort letters without mixing up elm and elmwood, but I muscled through." No shack. Genius life brags for him. Just boots on, hustle up. Or picture Mia, 62, ex-cashier. She'd chuckle. "Numbers and I? Oil and water. I counted change like a sloth on stilts, but my drawer balanced. Eat that, brainiacs." See, X is full of peacock feathers, folks strutting like they're born perfect. But Jim and Mia? They ditched the filters, owned their dents, and built something solid. Truth's not a trending hashtag. It's the quiet kick that turns meh into more. No lab coat nerds needed. Just look at your own scroll. Who's real? Who's smoke? The Stoics drop gold here. Epictetus said, "Truth is freedom. No cap, no costume. Just owning it unshackles you." Next time you're swiping through head-winning posts, feeling like a B-team bench warmer, pause. What's your glitch? Jim hauled mailbags, no Einstein cape. Mia rang up groceries, no math wizard wand. Stare your limits down, shrug and grind anyway. Skip the "I'm flawless" selfie. Real glows in the sweat, not the spotlight. Number 10, discipline sets you free. Ever see those X posts? Dude bragging about living wild, no rules, just vibes. Then spot him whining 2 tweets later about a wrecked sleep schedule and a fridge full of regrets. Freedom's a slick liar when it's all chaos, no reins. Take Vince, 71, a retired barber. He'd say, "I used to snooze till noon, skip the razor, ended up a scruffy mess with no cash. Set a clock, sharpen my clippers daily, and boom, shop ran like a dream." Or think of Tara, 58, ex-baker. She'd grin, "No plan, I'd eat dough scraps all day. Made a rule, bake first, snack later. Now I'm not a walking croissant." Scroll X and it's all YOLO noise. Folks acting like boundaries are jail bars. But Vince and Tara cracked the code. Discipline's not a leash, it's the key that unlocks the cage. Without it, you're just a pinball ricocheting off bad habits. Late nights, doom scrolls, and that third takeout order you swore you'd skip. Rules don't choke you. They carve the path. The Stoics saw through the haze. Seneca dropped, "No one's free who's a slave to impulse." Truth bomb. Real liberty's not flailing wild, it's steering sharp. Next time you're tempted to wing it, skip the gym, binge X till 3 a.m., flip the script. Vince clips hair like a boss because he stuck to it. Tara's kneading dough, not her waistline. Set your guardrails. Wake early, ditch the scroll spiral, own your day. Discipline's the quiet flex that turns free fall into free for real. Number 11, say sorry, forgive. Let go, ever clutch a grudge like it's a prize, replaying that sting, that slight, until your chest's a knot and your days feel heavy. The old ones, they've walked that road and left it behind, passing down a sharper way. Take Alma, 83, a former gardener. She'd say, "I snapped at my sister once, waited years to mumble sorry. When I did, the air cleared, flowers grew brighter that day." Or picture Leon, 76, ex-fisherman. He'd nod, "A pal sank my boat. Drunk. I forgave him over coffee, forgot it by supper. Waves don't hold grudges. Why should I?" This isn't soft mush, it's hard-earned clarity from folks who've seen storms and sunsets. Alma learned late. An apology's not a loss, it's a shovel that digs you out. Leon knew holding hate's like hauling dead fish, stinks up your boat, slows you down. They're handing you their weathered wisdom. Say it, release it, drop it. Life's too fleeting to lug old wounds. Each scar's a teacher, not a chain. The Stoics carved it deep. Marcus Aurelius whispered, "To forgive is to free your soul." Here's their gift. Don't wait till you're gray to unclench your fists. Alma's blooms thrive now, unburdened. Leon casts his line light as the breeze. Next time anger flares, someone cuts you off, betrays your trust, breathe. Mutter sorry if you're wrong, nod it's done if they are, then walk on. This is their torch, lit by years. Apologize to mend, forgive to heal, forget to fly. Number 12. Dropping the wrong beats, picking the right. Ever spend ages chasing the perfect path, obsessing over the right job, the right friend, the right move, only to realize you're still tangled in junk that's dragging you down? The silver-haired ones, they've sifted life's dirt and struck gold with this. Letting go of the bad outshines nailing the good. Take Esther, 81, a retired seamstress. She'd say, "I clung to a sour marriage, hunting happy fixes. Day I walked out, my hands stopped shaking. Didn't need a new prince, just no more poison." Or see Ralph, 77, ex-farmer. He'd grunt, kept a busted tractor, dreaming of the shiny one. Sold the clunker, plowed with what I had, crops didn't care. This is their weathered gem. It's not about grabbing the golden ticket, it's about ditching the deadweight. Esther didn't need a fairy tale, she needed the door. Ralph didn't wait for a showroom fix, he shed the rust. They're tossing you their clear-eyed truth, the wrong stuff. Toxic ties, soul-sucking habits, chokes you quiet. Cut it loose, and the right finds its own way in like sun after a storm. The Stoics etched it in stone. Seneca murmured, "Cease to bear what you can shed." Here's their hand-me-down light. Don't waste years polishing a flawed map, tear it up. Esther stitches quilts in peace now, Ralph reaps fields with a lighter yoke. Next time you're stuck, clinging to a draining job, a one-sided bond, shift your grip. Quit chasing correct, long enough to dump the rot. Their wisdom's your wings. Shed the wrong, and the right lands soft. Number 13. Missing them doesn't mean you need them back. Ever catch a memory, like a whiff of old cologne or a laugh that echoes, and feel your heart tug, only to wonder if you're supposed to pull them back into your orbit? The ones who've notched more winters than you, they've untangled that knot. Longing isn't a leash, it's just life's quiet hum. An old voice might say, "I still see her smile in the dusk, but I don't ring her bell. Those days are dust, not chains." Another would nod, "His jokes still crack me up in my head. Doesn't mean I'd share a table with him now." This is their seasoned gift. Missing someone's a thread in the weave, not a call to rewind. It's not about cracking open the past or begging for a sequel. Those ghosts drift through because they shaped you, not because they fit you today. The ache's real, sure, like a song you hum but don't replay. They've learned life's a river. Some faces ripple in the current, then fade downstream. Holding the echo doesn't mean hauling them ashore. The Stoics framed it crisp. Epictetus said, "What's gone is not yours. Let it lie." Here's their lantern for you. Don't confuse a soft memory with a summons. Those gray heads savor the flicker, her grin, his quip, then turn back to their own fire. Next time a shadow tugs your sleeve, old love, lost kin, lean in, feel it, let it pass. Their wisdom whispers, it's yours to miss, not to mend. That's life's rhythm, sweet, sharp, and solo. Number 14. If you're waffling too much, it might not be worth it. Ever find yourself tangled in a mental tug-of-war, twisting over a choice, a person, a path, until your gut's a knot and your head's spinning like a top? The ones who've weathered more seasons than you, they've got a bead on this. If it's that hard to pick, maybe it's not worth the pull. One gray head might muse, "I'd wrestle for hours, stay or go, fight or fold." Then one day I saw, the wrestle was the sign to walk. Another would shrug, "Spent nights pacing over a deal, too many maybes meant it was a no all along." Here's their clear-eyed handoff. Life's too short for endless second-guessing. The good stuff, real fits, true keepers, doesn't leave you dangling in a maze of what-ifs. It's not about never doubting. It's knowing when the doubt's shouting louder than the prize. They've learned hesitation's a compass. A flicker's fine, but a storm of indecision? That's the universe nudging you to drop the rope. Clarity cuts cleaner than clinging. The Stoics sharpened it up. Seneca said, "What drags you in circles isn't yours to chase." This is their torch for you. Don't burn out weighing a wobbly scale. Those who've seen more moons let the overthought fade. They step past the muddle, lighter for it. Next time you're stuck, chewing on a choice till your jaw aches, pause. If it's that thorny, it might not deserve your sweat. Their wisdom's a quiet shove. Let the tangle go, and trust the untangled's what lasts. Number 15. Forgive without keeping them close. Ever feel that itch? Someone's wronged you, and you're ready to bury the hatchet, but then you wonder if forgiving means inviting them back to your table? The ones who've logged more miles than you, they've cracked this open. Letting go doesn't mean locking arms. One gray voice might say, "I pardoned the guy who burned my trust, wished him well from a mile off, no coffee chats needed." Another would murmur, "She broke my word. I forgave her in my sleep. Didn't wave her back to my porch." Here's their road-worn pearl. Forgiveness isn't a reunion ticket, it's a quiet broom that sweeps your side clean. They've seen enough to know you can release the sting without rewriting the guest list. It's not weakness, it's carving space for your own air. The hurt's theirs to carry. You don't need to play host to prove you've moved on. Life's too wide to tether every pardon to a hug. The Stoics seal it tight. Seneca said, "Forgive without keeping them close." Mercy's yours to give, not a chain to wear. Those who've weathered the years nod. They bless the past its peace, then turn the page solo. Next time a wound tempts you, thinking absolution means a doorstep welcome, halt. Wish them light, keep your distance, stand tall. Their gift's this truth. Forgive to free yourself, not to fill your shadow. Conclusion. The old ones don't paint life with pretty lies. They strip it down to the bone, handing you lessons that hit hard and sink deep. They've learned to toss out the garbage that weighs you down and cradle the freedom that lives inside, giving you a way to stand real in a world stacked with phonies. Marcus Aurelius had it right. You've got one shot at this life, so pour it into what matters. No point letting envy gnaw at your peace or worry strangle your days. The elder's voice cuts clear. Shove the toxic aside, shake off the dead-end ghosts, and root yourself in calm right now, because this life belongs to you, not the crowd. Take a hard look at where you're at, what's got its claws in you just because you're too stubborn to let it slip. Pick up the blade and sever it. Pull away from those sly ego feeders, not because they scare you, but because you're worth more than being their echo. Don't sleep on it, move today. If this stings true, smash that like button. Pass it to someone sleepwalking through their own mess. Subscribe to Victory Stoic if you're ready to dig into the raw stuff. Drop "I'm free" in the comments or name a lesson you're grabbing hold of now. Let me see you're in the fight, not just floating by. Thanks for showing up. Take these words and forge them into steel in your spine. Life's yours to live straight, not to bend for anyone or sit around for magic fixes. Get up, stay true, start today.